everyone, and welcome to Entertainment Weekly's What to Watch 2020 Emmys special, where EW staff will help you solve your Emmy ballot dilemmas. I'm your host, Gerrad Hall, and honored just to be nominated with me today are Editor-in-Chief J.D. Heyman, Executive Editor Sarah Rodman, and the fantastic critic Kristen Baldwin. Hello to all of you. So nice to see you. We have a lot to unpack here today. So let's get to it. First up, Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. Nominees are Don Cheadle, Anthony Anderson, Ted Danson, Michael Douglas, Rami Youssef, and Eugene Levy. Now, JD, this isn't too surprising of a list, really, with the exception of first-time nominee Rami, who took home a Golden Globe this past year for his Hulu series of the same name, Rami. So who do you think is nabbing this one?
Well, I have many thoughts, Gerrad. Mm-hmm. I think that it's Eugene Levy. And I think it's his. I actually would love for Ted Danson to win, but obviously everybody loves Eugene Levy, and I just feel like he's going to win. But who I think should win is Ted Danson.
I agree with JD that there's probably a sentimental sense for Eugene Levy. This is the end of Schitt's Creek, but I think if we're going to go with like a career type award, it's actually going to go to Ted.
Kristen, where are you landing on this one?
Well, I agree on that it should go to Ted Danson, National Treasure. The man deserves all the Emmys. I mean, it's a good slate. Final season, so there is that sort of send off as well. But I think it's actually going to go to Rami. I think there's some momentum there. Everyone's looking at their lineups, and the Emmys, did also expand the number of people who could be in this category in an effort to be more diverse. And also, Rami's having a great year. In addition to the show and the Golden Globe win, he had the stand-up special. I think he's got momentum, but, and perhaps the two elder statesmen, career achievement, Ted Danson and Eugene might sort of cancel each other out, and it could go to Rami.
All right, up next, lead actress in a comedy series. In 2019, we saw Phoebe Waller-Bridge take this category for Fleabag, which also won Outstanding Comedy Series and Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series. Who's going to follow her up at this year's ceremony? Nominees are Tracy Ellis Ross, Christina Applegate, Linda Cardellini, Issa Rae, Rachel Brosnahan, and Catherine O'Hara. Sarah, this, to me, is one of the hardest decisions to make of them all. Who's your pick?
So here I actually will go back to JD's reasoning. I think Catherine O'Hara is going to win this for all of the reasons we were talking about. People love her. Who wouldn't want to give Moira Royce this award? I think that we have the same problem here with Linda Cardellini and Christina Applegate going up against each other and probably dividing their vote. I would love to see Issa Rae win this award, and going back to the idea of creating and starring, and she's such a powerhouse, and I love that she got into this category. So I think it's a fight between Issa and Catherine, and I think maybe the sort of legendary edge might go to Catherine.
Gotcha. Kristen, where are you landing here?
Same. I actually think I don't watch Schitt's Creek. I don't get Schitt's Creek. I need everyone to stop talking about Schitt's Creek. We get it. You love it. That's great. I'm going to spend my time in other ways. For example, watching, 3 hours of Big Brother a week. But I will say that I do think Catherine O'Hara, is great. And even just from the memes of Schitt's Creek, I think, she's funny in those. She hasn't won an Emmy since 1982. Give her the Emmy.
Wow. That is quite a while. All right, JD, you're up.
Well, I think Catherine O'Hara, not to really think outside the box here, outside this little box, I think she's probably got it. But I like Kristen's thinking, and I do think people want to reward Issa and also show that the Emmys are inclusive. So I think she could come in and take it. I think the conventional wisdom would say Catherine O'Hara, but I think that there's a chance that Issa Rae could sneak it.
Yeah, and there's been so much conversation about how Catherine really made this character her own, adds all this stuff that was never in the script and everything, they've really driven home that point anytime they have spoken about it. So that may end up that thing that ends up sticking in voters' minds. All right, guys, we need to take a quick break, but stay tuned for some outstanding drama. We'll be right back with more What to Watch. Welcome back to What to Watch. Sandra Oh, Jodie Comer, and Laura Linney are the returning nominees from last year's Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama race. Jodie ended up taking home the win for her performance in Killing Eve. But let's take a look at 2020's nominees. This year, we've got Olivia Colman, Zendaya, Jennifer Aniston, and as I mentioned, Jodie Comer, Sandra Oh, and Laura Linney. Now, Kristen, Olivia won the Oscar last year. She won the Golden Globe earlier this year. We love her acceptance speeches. And Zendaya got a lot of, well, pardon the pun, buzz for her performance in Euphoria. So who do you think is taking it this year?
I think for Zendaya, the nomination is the victory, and God bless. She's a young, talented lady. She will have many, many chances to take home awards in her future. I think who should win is Jennifer Aniston. The morning show had a lot of problems, but she was consistently just kick ass throughout. There are certain scenes where you just want to watch them again and again because she's just telling a room full of old white men, what her problems are with them, and it's very cathartic. That said, I think it's going to be really hard to beat out Olivia Colman as the queen. I mean, she's great in everything, and yeah, again, people just love to see her get up and on stage and win. And yes, there will be no stage, but presumably she could still give a speech, and it would likely be lovely.
Yeah, that is very true. JD, who are you rooting for here?
This is a really tough category. I mean, there are really great people nominated. So there's a scenario, just looking at the Academy, where Olivia Colman, Laura Linney, Zendaya, any of them could win, I could see. Jennifer Aniston, I think, is the one I would like to see win most. I think she did the best in terms of reinventing who she is and really taking something that, while was complicated, I think she was just riveting and showed everybody that she's a fabulous actress. But I'm going to give the edge to Olivia. I also don't believe that she's that befuddled or shocked or surprised every time she wins an award. Okay? I don't want to see that again. Oh, I didn't. Come on.
And
stop.
Oh, she's like, no. Give me more. I'd give her every award. And of course, royal performances are rewarded quite often. So there's that too. Sarah, how about you?
So wait, JD, you're calling Olivia Colman the Taylor Swift of the Emmy Awards?
She is a Taylor Swift.
Oh my goodness.
She's a Taylor Swift.
I think Laura Linney is actually the spoiler here, given how much momentum Ozark has had during this pandemic time, that so many people have binged it, and this season was such a big season for her. And I think she gets nominated very frequently because she's a very good actress. But I actually think this might be her year.
All right, moving on. Fans were thrilled to see Billy Porter take home the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama last year. Do we think Billy has another chance at gold for this season of Pose? He's nominated with Steve Carell, Jason Bateman, Brian Cox, Jeremy Strong, and Sterling K. Brown. JD, I come to you first. What do you think about this year's nominees?
Okay. This is another interesting category. I think that Jason Bateman has a chance because of the love for Ozark and the fact that he has a tremendous amount of goodwill in Hollywood. So I would not rule him out.
And he won for directing last year, right?
He's fabulous, and it really is his show, and it's really transformed him as a performer. That said, I think it's going to be Jeremy Strong. I think Succession's been around for a long time, and we've forgotten how great and how well received it was. And Jeremy Strong, unbelievable.
I think that Brian Cox actually has a really good shot. I think that people like Logan because it's a flashier character. It's sort of a wider range. And certainly Brian Cox's character is more sort of steady on in the kind of thing that he does. But I feel like if we're trending towards we're rewarding people who have been around for a long time who have not previously been rewarded. Not that Brian Cox sort of is a household name necessarily, but people will be like, oh, that guy, I remember him and he's so good in this. But then we also have the possibility that the two Succession people cancel each other out. And then I think that's where Mr. Bateman comes in.
All right, Kristen, to you. Who do you think will win in Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama?
I think of the Succession dudes, the Brian Cox does have the edge in that he wasn't nominated the year before. He's so good this season. He gives that the final episode ends with his little smile. What is he thinking? That said, I do think there's a good chance that he and Jeremy could cancel each other out, in which case it goes to Bateman, I believe.
All right, so you're saying Jason Bateman will, because
No,
the
I'm
Succession
saying
guys will split.
strong will.
You're going with strong. Okay.
Will and should, but I do think, as Sarah said, that Jason's the spoiler. By the way, don't forget that we're all hearing Brian Cox's voice on McDonald's commercials now, and that could put him top of mind.
Subliminal.
And give him the vote over Jeremy.
And he got to go to his hometown and everything this season.
Oh,
Sure.
so good.
But I'm still sticking with Jeremy for the
okay.
rap. I'm sticking for Jeremy because he got to rap about his dad.
All right, we have to take another short break, but when we return, we'll be talking limited series. And watch, man, the nominees are pretty unbelievable. So some of my guests may find them unorthodox, but don't worry, I'm here to put out the little fires everywhere. This isn't one to miss, is America. We'll be right back.
Woo woo.
There has perhaps never been a better time for limited series. You can get fully immersed in the world of a show, but they're short enough to have time to watch them all. Plus, with only one season to commit to, some big stars have dipped their toes into the small screen waters, and baby, that water is warm. The series nominated in this category are Little Fires Everywhere, Mrs. America, Unbelievable, Unorthodox, and Watchmen. Sarah, you're up. Which limited series is taking it this year?
This, I think, is hands down the best category in the entire Emmys this year. I loved every single one of these shows. And I love how they were all female focused. That in this category, we're not always celebrating women. Sometimes like these are villainous women, but they're complicated and they're flawed and they have interesting stories. And I'm so excited about this category. Watchmen to me is far and away the winner, although I adored Mrs. America and I really, really enjoyed Little Fires Everywhere. But Watchmen to me is just, it has it in the bag. The performances, the actors, the directing, the storyline, the timeliness, it's just, it is this moment.
Yeah, it is pretty stunning. Kristen, where do you land?
Exactly the same. I mean, I think it's really going to be hard to beat Watchmen. I do think, initially everyone thought it would be competing in drama, but once it went for limited series and Damon said there would probably not going to be a second season, it's just going to kind of be impossible to beat. And it's so, as Sarah says, predicted this year and is still so relevant and timely. And so, yeah, I think it's pretty much a lock.
Yeah, and it does have the most nominations of anything nominated this year. JD, are you going to make it 3 for 3?
I'm going to write in Space Force as a special limited series.
I think that's coming back.
Is it coming back?
They haven't announced it yet.
I think it should be a limited series. But anyway, no,
and you think it should be an
eliminated
series? Is that what you said?
Well, possibly. I have to go along with these very wise women. I think it's just going to be Watchmen. I agree with Sarah. It's just an unprecedented year for this form, which I think is going to dominate television in the future. It just the perfect form. But I think it's Watchmen all the way.
Fully agree with all three of you. All right, over the past few years, late night shows have taken on a new importance. They're a source of both news and comic relief for so many of us. The nominees this year may provide lots of laughs, but they are no joke. Outstanding variety talk series nominees are The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Kristen, all of these shows have had stunning seasons, and I know you've been very vocal about one that was snubbed, and I know you would be saying should be the winner here, Desus and Mero, but which of the 5 that are nominated do you think will nab this award?
So first of all, yes. Why did you step on my? You stole my.
I'm sorry.
I want to say, talk to me when Desus and Mero are nominated.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, there's no reason to believe that John Oliver Last Week Tonight with John Oliver won't win again. It will be the fifth time. All of these shows had to shift to sort of remote broadcast, and they did them with various degrees of success, and they did, still managed to make really good and topical comedy. I think maybe if anyone could beat out John Oliver, it might be Colbert, because he's done a lot of great work in quarantine as well. But I think it's going to be John Oliver.
You don't think Samantha Bee wins for being in the woods? Just kidding. Sarah, how about you?
I think in this category, I feel like the pandemic has really brought out the best in some people, and I wouldn't say the worst in other people, but some haven't risen to the occasion. If I was actually, my snub here is Late Night with Seth Meyers. I think he's done such a great job. But of all of the people, I think Trevor Noah has led the field in this moment, with his quarantine shows, doing comedy and bringing in really important newsmakers. Like, this has been a great ascension moment, I think, for Trevor Noah. But I think John Oliver's going to win, and John Oliver's great.
Yeah. And Trevor's knowing those, rocking those zip-up hoodies so well.
Exactly.
JD, you're up.
Yeah, I don't know. This category just seems like a lock and a foregone conclusion. So I agree with my fellow panelists. I don't think there's anybody who's going to stand between him and his millionth. His Julia Louis-Dreyfus millionth Emmy.
All right. Well, talk shows aren't the only ones bringing the laughs and the tears this year. When we get back, we'll talk outstanding comedy and drama series. So stick around. They say that laughter is the best medicine, and this year we've certainly needed it. Luckily, the ever-expanding TV landscape has provided us with some great shows for when you just want to LOL instead of CUACITFP. That's curl up and cry in the fetal position, for those of you not hip to the new slang. So the nominees are Curb Your Enthusiasm, Dead to Me, The Good Place, Insecure, The Kaminsky Method, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Schitt's Creek, and What We Do in the Shadows. Sarah, which of these shows do you think will be laughing all the way to Emmy Gold?
I'm not actually totally positive on this one, but just you saying What We Do in the Shadows made me laugh. And that is the show that I want to win. Like, I would be so excited that this little underdog vampire show made this happen. It's so fun. And if you haven't watched it yet out there, definitely go watch What We Do in the Shadows. I would love to see Insecure win, and I actually think it has a good shot. And so I'm going to make that my pick as a way of manifesting that.
Kristen, I know the show you will not be picking, so we don't need to worry about that. Who do you think will and should?
Well, I would love to see What We Do in the Shadows win as well. And it's so nice to see it nominated. I don't believe that Emmy voters will reward it. I'm just amazed it made it on the ballot. I think, honestly, I think Schitt's Creek has the momentum to win. I think everybody's just, super excited about Schitt's Creek, and I get it. You love it. I do, however, think there is a chance that the voters will be so lazy, they will just hit Maisel again, and it'll go for Maisel.
JD?
This is a depressing category for me because I feel like what Kristen said is true, and that is that people are lazy. And I think Maisel is a good show that has been well rewarded. And if we were going to go back in our time machine to a different kind of television industry, that you were just referencing how people reward things over and over and over again until they get tired, I think Insecure and Schitt's Creek could have this weird way of canceling each other out because they have such enthusiasms discreetly, and that then the big machine that is Maisel could come in there. So I'm going to give that slight edge to Maisel, but I love What We Do in the Shadows. I wish that would win. So there you go.
Well, and maybe they will be able to capture this momentum and carry it on into next year and do something great with that there. All right, the very last one. Here we go, folks. Nominated for Outstanding Drama Series are returning nominees: Better Call Saul, The Crown, The Handmaid's Tale, Killing Eve, Ozark, Stranger Things, and Succession, and they are joined by newbie The Mandalorian. JD, this is a tough year for dramas. All of these shows really delivered. Who do you think will win, and does the only first-time nominee in the category, The Mandalorian, stand a chance at all?
Well, it was highly watched and very, very, so heavily streamed. I mean, I think conventional wisdom would say that it won't win, certainly not in its first season. I would say Succession is what should and probably will win, though I am intrigued by Sarah Rodman's analysis of Ozark. I still have to give a lean to Succession.
All right, Sarah?
I think that if Baby Yoda was nominated, Baby Yoda would win.
I was just about to say, do you think they would get Baby Yoda to accept the award? That'd be great.
I think that Succession is far and away the winner here. I do think that Ozark is the potential spoiler because of the buzz. But I think that the groundswell is for Succession, which I think is funny in this moment that we're in, that we are probably about to reward despicable rich white people with a gift.
So true.
It's so true for this moment.
That is so true. But it's a lot of rich white people who are voting as well. So there you go. And Kristen, lastly to you.
Better Call Saul 100% should win. This season was incredible. If you haven't watched it, the show is better than Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is overrated. That said,
Kristen coming in hot. Kristen is on fire.
I hate for Schitt's Creek and Breaking Bad all within a 20-minute span.
Better Call Saul, incredible. I'm still annoyed that Bob Odenkirk wasn't nominated. Rhea Seehorn wasn't nominated. That said, Succession was great. It will probably win. I'm not going to be super mad about it because I'm used to Better Call Saul, not winning. That said, we should also remember 2020 has been such a garbage fire that it's entirely possible that the voters will just give it to The Mandalorian.
We will find out how these predictions shake out when the Emmy Awards are handed out on Sunday, September 20th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC with host Jimmy Kimmel. I want to thank my guests, JD Heyman, Sarah Rodman, and Kristen Baldwin. I'll see all of you on the virtual red carpet, and we'll see you next week on What to Watch.